Hey guys, today we want to talk about overcoming some of the issues that we have or had back in the States, and why you should also try to take care of these things before you get to the Philippines. A lot of guys bring their baggage over here, and I want to talk about this even more than what we usually talk about. And there's a good reason why I want to talk about this, because when you bring that baggage with you and you unload it here, it's not the place to unload it, because expats hate when people come over here and unload their issues on everyone else. We see it over here because we have the narcissists, we have the idiots, we have the drunks, the alcoholics, the sexpats, and many more issues that people bring over here, and they just offload it here right in front of us, and a lot of us have to deal with it. And it can be daunting sometimes to deal with these types of people. Some people have anxiety issues, mental health issues, all these things, and you really need to deal with that on, at home in the United States versus here in the Philippines. You can deal with some of those issues over here, and you may need to come over, when you come over here, still deal with it, whether it be seeing a psychiatrist or a therapist. Over here, they don't have much in the way of mental health help over here like they do back in the US. And also alcoholism, things like that. Yes, they have Alcoholics Anonymous over here, just like they do back in the States. Drug addiction, you can get that taken care of over here to a certain extent, but it's different over here. You do not want to be on drugs over here. Not a good place to be an alcoholic, because alcohol is so cheap here. There's a lot of issues, but I want to talk about this because before I came here, the 4 years before I came here, I took this class called Overcomers. And it's put on by the Pentecostal churches, and it's not really a religious thing. It's a thing to help people through overcoming addiction, overcoming abuse, overcoming mental health issues, or divorce, or things that bother you maybe. It's basically a course to overcome almost anything, any problem that you had. And I wanted to take the course because anything that bothered me, I wanted to dump back in the United States versus dump it in the Philippines on some people over here. Why would I want to do that? And of course, you always are going to have some small issues that you take with you, and all of us take that over here to a certain extent, but most of it, you are always a work in progress, let's face it. But I remember when I took this course, I was in there with a bunch of people, and we always talked, we all became friends. And this is really relevant to expats. I took the course, and we learned so much from that course, and we liked the course so much that we took it several more times. The course is only lasts, I think, like 6 months or something like that, or it's not that long. I'm not sure how long it lasts. I forget how long it was. And I just kept sitting in the course and taking it over and over and over again, because each time it changed a little bit, because everybody would offer something or throw something out there. You'd find out something new about people, about maybe alcoholism or drug addiction or narcissism or divorce or the way people are built. You found out a lot about people's issues that they had to overcome. Some of them didn't deal with mental health. Some of them were just things that people just wanted to learn a little bit about, overcoming, because they haven't dealt with overcoming things that well, and they wanted to learn from this course, and it offered so much. And one thing, and I just started noticing this a couple years ago, that almost every single person that took that course later on became very successful. It was really kind of funny, and I noticed that. And, like, for people coming over here, you really need to leave your dirt back there. Your excessive baggage, your issues, your mental health issues, all that stuff. Leave it back there. Don't bring it with you. Because your life over here, you want to start it new and fresh. And I wanted to bring this up. And if you have a Pentecostal church around you that has these overcomers meetings, and you have issues that you want to delve into and work with and learn how to deal with, it's a really, really good course that you take, and it's free, okay? And the people that teach it have to go to take a class and learn how to teach this course, and they're really, really good at what they do. We had a gentleman, his name was Wayne. Wayne was really, really good at teaching the course because he came from an alcoholic background, and he was able to overcome that and become successful. He was just successful at becoming the new person he wanted to be. You know, he gave up the alcoholism, and he was successful both in the church and teaching that course and helping other people. He was a very successful individual, you know, but all the people that were in that course all became successful or were already retired, and you know, they just became better people because of it. But I noticed one of the guys in the class was a friend of mine. He was a real nice guy. He was a Dominican gentleman, and he became a pastor, and he's a pastor of his own church now. And I found that really fascinating, you know. And this course, like I said, it wasn't about religion. It didn't teach it from a religious point of view. It taught it like anybody could go there, whether you believed in God or not. But it happened to be in my church, and one of the women in there talked me into going, and I started going. I actually, like I said, I enjoyed it so much that I went there constantly. I loved that course. And you know, if you're back home and you're near a Pentecostal church and you're thinking about coming over here, take that course. Take it, because, you know, it helps you to overcome things and find ways to deal with issues when they come along. All of us need help with dealing with issues sometimes. Some deal with them better than others. I for one, you know, when people bother me with something or something like that, I don't take that very well sometimes. I just don't like being bothered by people. I don't like people doing things to me when it's not warranted for no reason at all. It just really troubles me and trips me up a little bit. And I've learned to deal with things even better now over here. It takes me time, and I have my own ways of dealing with things. And I always look back at that course and say, you know, wait, this is what they said. And it's also, it's about giving people rent in your head too. When you're dealing with people that cause problems and stuff like that, don't give them a rental in your head. You know, don't let them have that space in your head. You know, they're not paying you rent. Don't give it to them. You know, you're giving them free rent. And you kind of need to just, most things just kind of pass by after a while. My father used to say, you know, Steve, whenever there was something going on in my life and I would sit down and talk with my dad about it, my father would say, you know something, once this goes by, something else is going to jump in its place. It always does, and it always will. And he said, you know, so, and it might be worse than this one. So he says, don't always wish your problems away, because those problems can get bigger sometimes, and sometimes you'll find out that they do. And what he said was true. I found that to be very true, that, you know, generally something else would take its place almost immediately. Because then you have your mind's open for something new, and you see something new, and then that starts bothering you. And I kind of worked myself out of that mindset. I don't let things bother me as much as I used to. I just said, you know what? I'm not gonna let this bother me. I'm not gonna let that bother me. And I just don't think about it. And usually it goes away. Usually those problems go away. But we all need to overcome our issues, especially before you come to the Philippines. When you come here, you want to come with a new slate, a fresh start. You don't want to bring all that old baggage and bring it over here and unload it over here and have the same crap back home that you're escaping come over here. Don't give it the space in your head, number one. And number two, don't make sure you leave that baggage back there. Don't bring it with you. We have guys that bring anxiety over here. And I know some people can't beat anxiety. You know, I have a little bit of anxiety myself. Some of it comes from lack of sleep because I have insomnia, and it brings on a lot of other issues too. And a lot of people over here in the Philippines have problems with insomnia. A lot of the expats who are veterans, for some reason, we have a lot of insomnia issues, especially the guys around here. They have a lot of insomnia issues. That brings with it a lot of other issues, some mental health issues, some physical issues too, like your eyes get dry or things like that. And, you know, you have to kind of learn to try to overcome that or beat it and say, hey, I'm still going to have the best life I can have despite my issues, despite this here. The key to overcoming some things, because some things are never going to go away. Health issues sometimes never go away. Sometimes they do. The key is to not let that run your life. To beat it to the point that you're happy. You know, you're going to have pain in your life. You're going to have mental health issues. You're going to have sleep issues. You're going to have physical issues. But you have to learn to overcome that in some way, shape, or form, or it'll eat you up. A lot of the guys let things eat them up over here, and you cannot let that happen. You really got to overcome all your issues over here. You're on your own over here pretty much. And, you know, it's good. This is where a really good Filipina comes into place that will listen to you and has a good ear. A lot of guys focus on the body over here. If the girl has a nice body, that's the girl I want. And why can't you get the best of both worlds? You know, one thing I can say about my girlfriend is if I'm going through something, she's there for me 100%. And a lot of girls are not. And I see a lot of the guys over here, they're with the girl just because she's pretty, you know. And before you get involved with a girl or stick it out with a girl for the long term, make sure that you're compatible both physically and mentally also, and that you're able to converse with her and have conversation with her. Nobody wants to wake up in the morning with somebody that has an empty head. You know, there's a lot of Filipinas over here that are really, really smart girls, and there's a lot of troublesome girls over here. There's a lot of scammer girls over here. In the United States, we have our same issues over there. And I don't want to try to cookie cut everybody, because the girls over here are just as different as the girls in the United States. They have, like I said, every person has their issues. And the things that we try to escape over in the United States, we trade off for different issues over here. But there are some wonderful women over here, and they're easier to find over here too. And remember, 90% of your happiness or unhappiness is going to come from the person that you're with. 90%. You know, if you're happy with your woman all the time, that's a good thing. If you're unhappy a lot of the time and it's caused by your woman, that means you probably need to probably break off with that girl and find somebody else. But always remember, 90% of your happiness is going to come from that person that you're with, your partner. Or 90% of your grief is going to come from that partner. And that's true from talking to a lot of people, seeing it. My dad used to say that also. And I believe that to be true, because think about that. That woman that you're with is going to be there, is going to be around you most of the time, 90% of the time probably, if not more. You know, so make sure you pick the right person. That is part of success over here. And remember, always stay on top of things. Always be able to overcome things and learn to overcome those things. There's tons of self-help books out there, things like that. A lot of the things we can solve ourselves right up here. Right up here. That's where it comes from, you know. And if you're a person that, you know, you're a Christian or whatever, you know, pray about it, you know, things like that. That's all I can say, you know. If you're not a Christian, you can, you know, like I said, that course was not just for Christians. It was for all people that want to overcome. We had people in there that probably weren't Christians or what have you. And they learned a lot from that course. And I thought it was a great course. But remember, a lot of it's in your head, but also a lot of it is getting help from people, counselors, AA, you know, drug and alcohol counselors, what have you, before you come here. You don't want to be working on that when you're over here and you're starting a fresh life. Get it done there when you're back in the States, even if it means you have to stay behind for another year or whatever. Anyway, guys, I want to talk about that a little bit, because I thought it was something I think everybody should hear before they come over here, because most of the expats over here don't like dealing with somebody's mess. And a lot of guys bring their mess over here and unleash it on us, and we don't like it. You know, we don't want to hear it, because we're here to retire, to be happy. And when you bring that grief with you, and I work with a couple of expats over here that suffer from anxiety and stuff, and I try to help them through it. And a lot of them, they're difficult cases, I'll say. And, you know, work your way through it before you come here, not after you come here. God bless, guys. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.